Secret Garden, Peebles High Street. It holds lots of secrets. Secret vans. Secret doors in secret vans. Doors that had been locked during lockdown, and now they're open again. And here's one which leads into the secret garden.
This is People's Secret Garden. You're very welcome. Come on in. I'm Jan Cameron. This is Lesley Morrison.
Hello. Welcome.
Oh, I've been working here for about 4 years, and this is probably my second time back since lockdown. But Lesley, you've been here a bit longer, haven't you? You were here from the beginning.
Tweedgreen came about 6 years ago.
Right.
This is a privately owned space, but the owners were members of Tweedgreen and very kindly offered it to us to run as a community garden. So it's a group of volunteers who look after it and run it, and we've changed it from being a space that hadn't been looked after for a couple of years into a lovely space just off the high street where people can come.
It is beautiful. I particularly like this little annual flower bed.
It's fabulous.
And it's so easy, isn't it?
We threw some wildflower seeds, that's all we did.
Stood well back.
And up they came.
That's right.
It's just gorgeous.
It's quite a well-structured garden now, and a lot's happened since I was here in the early part of the year. How did you fund all this?
We funded it by people donating things. Apart from a piece of fleece and a few packets of seeds, everything has been donated, except for some money which we got from the Philago Fund, which paid for a local joiner to make some...
Is that the lovely gates?
To make the gates and the seats and some of the edging.
The edging's beautiful.
And also a dementia project outside the box funded some other seating and some of the high-raised beds.
Right, and this is going to be the main wide path for perhaps wheelchair access.
Exactly.
Right.
We want the garden to be very accessible for older people, perhaps people with disability. So this is
buggies.
Buggies. This is designed so that people can readily come down.
You could get lost in here. We'll have to trim it back
Please
a bit.
don't. Please, we need your expertise.
Yeah.
Please don't get lost.
Do you know, hasn't it been fun watching people learn in the garden? I think that's what I like best about it. I remember you the first time we grew leeks, and you were so emotional because it was the first time you ever managed to make leeks work. Do you remember that?
I do. I still think it's magic.
It is magic.
I'm a novice gardener, and I still think it's absolute magic.
Except for the marigolds and the sunflowers. And I've not been here, but that was you, wasn't it?
I take responsibility.
Anything that's orange. The pears are doing well, aren't they?
There's a lovely pear tree.
Do you remember how overgrown that pear tree was when we came? This must be our 4th year of pruning it back to get it to begin to behave.
But that's where, when there's people in the group who have got a lot of gardening expertise and they're sharing, and that's the reason I come, because I feel I'm learning.
Yes.
I love being with a group of people who just love touching the earth.
Yes.
And I feel every time I come, I learn something. I meet new people.
Yeah. And you have a garden.
We're very fortunate. We've got a garden, and I love gardening there. But there's something about gardening with other people.
It is,
and
isn't it?
Sharing and having conversations and learning.
And do you not think sometimes in the garden we share some of our deepest feelings with people that would be quite hard to share somewhere else? Somehow there's something about working together in the ground that opens people up to be able to talk about things.
People feel relaxed, they feel comfortable, they feel safe. Yes. I totally agree.
Yes.
And I think when you're doing things, it's easier to speak.
People make friends by doing things. It's my favourite mantra. These chairs are magnificent.
They are, and they're particularly designed to be very sturdy.
Yeah.
So again, an older person would be really safe in them.
It's the getting up, isn't it?
Exactly. They need
the
pushed arms.
to get up. Yeah. This border's looking beautiful in the last of today's sun, isn't it?
Isn't it?
You could almost have planted this. It's back to the yellows and oranges. There's a theme here, Mrs. Morrison.
But what's really exciting is just well, as you know, and I'm learning, every season something else pops up.
Yes,
And
yes.
every year it looks slightly different.
Yes.
And that's, it's like making new friends. Oh,
Yes.
hello, I haven't seen you here before.
Yes,
And
exactly.
the herb bed, excuse me, is that herb or a weed? I don't care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
So it's, what is it that a weed is a flower in the wrong place?
Yes, it's more like, do we want it or do we not?
Can we eat it?
Can
Also,
we eat it? Yes, that's a big one,
Can
isn't
we
it?
eat it? And that's one of the loveliest things, is to come in all seasons, but particularly obviously in spring and summer, and find people just sitting here having their lunch, enjoying, just sitting and relaxing.
Do you remember our first Saturday open day when it just happened to be my birthday?
Yes, yes.
And so that I wouldn't miss it, I asked if I could just invite my friends that were wanting to come and visit, and you made a beautiful cake. And we just sat here and we opened it to the public, and all these people came in off the street, and we had this amazing birthday party. That's my favourite memory of the
I know
garden,
that is,
think.
and we had music.
We had
I
music.
think John played music. John and Joe played music,
Yes.
and it's exactly that. It's just
is.
it's the spontaneity.
Yeah.
People walking in and finding a group of people and feeling comfortable.
That's absolutely it. And it's lovely when you see someone come into the garden a bit hesitant and a bit, a bit shy, a bit reticent, and not feeling, they think they'll just pop their head in and we grab them, and say, do you want to have a wee look round? And they'll think, okay,
Yes.
and they're really quite interested. And
Yes.
before you know it, you've made them a cup of tea and given them a bit of your cake as usual, and they're sitting and you can just see them sort
Relaxing.
of de-stress and become comfortable, and
Yes.
before you know it, they're really talking to you, not just idle chit chat. They're really talking to you.
And I think some of the people who've come and discovered it have been older people who've maybe moved into a flat
That's
or
right.
into residential
Yes,
care,
yes.
and they previously had a garden and really missed it.
Yes.
And so they say, can I just come along and potter? And we say, of course, please,
Yes,
that's
yes.
exactly what. And children, though, it's not just older people, it's children. Children are welcome, obviously under supervision, but and we've had family events, we've had children's birthday parties. So it feels very
lovely,
social.
doesn't it?
It feels
And I think it's an absolute boon for somebody, say, in one of these flats that does not have a garden, even just to overlook what's going on,
Yes.
but certainly to join in.
Yes.
For people who have gardens, I always think that people who work in community gardens actually do more in their own garden. They say, oh, I can't possibly join because I've got this big garden of my own and I'm hardly managing that. I think when you start working in a community garden, you do more in your own garden and not less. Would you agree with that?
Totally. I know I've very much found, you told the leek story, and I am now growing leeks. Fairly successfully, I have to say.
Excellent.
And then, so you experiment, go,
Yeah.
and that's, for me, that's been the big learning thing, is that
Yeah.
gardening is an experiment. There's no right and wrong. You don't make
Yes.
mistakes, you
Yes.
just learn.
Yes.
And so, exactly as you say, you do things here, and then you take those ideas back to your own garden.
Absolutely.
And so that it both benefit.
Yes. Lovely.